Okay, this video is going to be based on religion, and I don't know, I just keep seeing a whole bunch of posts, and it's basically about believing in God, and about having one foot in the world and one foot trying to be a Christian or whatever. Okay, here's the deal. You either worship God or you worship the devil. You're either going to be with God or you're going to be with the devil. And I say this because once I had a dream, and in that dream it was like this guy, and he basically had me in his arms, and I was alive, I was walking, but it seemed like I was in a trance or whatever. My eyes were closed, but I was fully aware of where I was, and I felt good, but I really didn't have, I had control but not much control. And and he was just, his mouth was at my ear. He was saying things to me, and the things seemed alluring, but at the same time, the whole picture of me being in front of him and him having me in his arms, it just seemed like really weird, like it wasn't supposed to be. But anyways, when I kind of interpret the dream, it was basically being sold out to the devil. I had backslid at that time, and I was like, I don't think that I'm sold out to the devil, because, I just backslid. Like, there's a lot of things people need to work on, and I was like, I still go to church, I still pray, and, even though I was still doing what I was supposed to do, but, and I'm like, God, how can I be sold out to the devil if I'm still trying to be with you or whatever? And, basically, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you just make your wrongs normal, like if you know you're doing wrong, but you try to put in your mind that it's right, and you just keep doing it every day like it's clockwork, then you kind of turned over to a reprobated mind, whereas you just turned over to your own devices, and whatever you feel that works for you, you don't think it's wrong, even though it is wrong. So, in the process of, not looking at myself for myself, but looking at myself the way God would look at me, I just started evaluating myself, writing down my weaknesses, and, and reading more of the Bible. And, I started to see that I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to do, and even though I was trying, I wasn't trying hard enough. And so that kind of aided me a little bit, because I knew I was living wrong, and it was for kind of good reasons, but reasons that you're still not supposed to do things that way when you're trying to be saved. But basically the reason was to be with somebody or whatever, but it was for love. But you're supposed to love Christ before you love anybody. But anyways, not to get off topic, I just wrote down all my weaknesses, and I just started praying about it. I started repenting. I stopped hanging around the person and people that were making me want to do what I'm not supposed to do. And I basically told them, I can't do this anymore. And I just turned my life around, and started doing what I was supposed to do. And I started reading the Bible more, and reading other artists' books and stuff like that, inspirational books. Anything that would help me stay positive, and anything in the Bible that I felt stuck with me, I would write it down, and I would, meditate on it. And I just kept praying about it. And, people don't think prayer works, but, prayer is not something that you can just do once. You got to do it more than once. Because if you don't do it more than once, then you're not consistent. And if you're not consistent for things that aren't seen, then that means that you don't have faith. And in order for a prayer to work, you have to have faith. You have to have faith in God, and you have to have faith that your words will take life. But yeah, after that experience, I repented and I just started doing what I was supposed to do. And that's another thing. These days, people don't want to serve God the way they're supposed to because, they don't want to follow the law. And it's okay if you don't want to follow the law. Just don't, think that you can be saved and do whatever you want, because that's not how it works. I had a lot of people, they would just say, it's, you're trying to go back to the Old Testament. And they're like, that doesn't count anymore. And I'm like, no. The Old Testament counts. It's the law. That's one thing with, God leading me to do more Bible study. I found out that there are a lot of things that, even going to Bible study and going to church, that you find out more during your own Bible study than other people telling you. And I found out, that the Old Testament is actually the law, and it still remains the law. The New Testament is just grace. A lot of people think, they look into that word new, like, oh, so if it's new, then I can forget the old. No, that's not how it works. The Old Testament is the law. God's law is his kingdom. In order to be in his kingdom and have dominion and have power that is given to you through Christ, you have to abide by that law in order to have the dominion. You cannot be in the kingdom if you don't want to follow the law. And a lot of people need to understand that. And that's why today a lot of churches, they don't have, the power that they're supposed to as far as delivering people and lifting up people and all that other stuff. People are just doing whatever they can to get a number capacity for members. Oh, if I get 100 to 500 members, I'm just going to tell them half the truth. Because if I tell them the whole truth, they're not going to want to come to church, and then I'm not going to get their tithes, and I'm not going to get their offering. And that's one other thing doing Bible study I learned about Abraham. Abraham's family left him. I mean, we're getting scarred over a few followers. Abraham's family left him when he told them what God wanted him to do, and he had to go out on some outstanding faith. He had to leave where he was on some outstanding faith and do what God told him to do. And when he told his family what God wanted him to do, they did not want to go, but they went anyways. But then Lot and his wife, they wanted to go on because they said it wasn't enough land. It was enough land. People just did not want to share. And that's the same problem today. People do not want to share. People do not want to help each other stay strong. We just don't want to help each other unless it's benefiting us. We want everything that's everything for ourselves. And that's not the way to be. But anyways, yes. Abraham's family left him. Some of them stayed with him, and some of them went on to try to go to Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff like that. Or whatever. Even though they know God told him what he was supposed to do, they still left. Okay. And, when they left, they kind of hit destruction, because that's not where God wanted them to go. If God don't want you to go somewhere, believe me, when you try to go, it's going to be hard luck on that road. It's going to be hard for you to go where he don't want you to go. If you try to go anyways, it's going to be hard. I know my life's done been that way. I've rebelled for a long time. But, yes, Abraham's family they left him. So why should we get nonchalant about, other saints not following us because we're trying to teach the way the Bible says it's supposed to be? And that's another thing. We need bolder leaders. The New Age church, they're too intact with their feelings. They want to, they don't want to step on anybody's feelings. They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. They don't want to seem like they're judging somebody. But, it's not really judging. We're supposed to govern each other. And, I only have 9 minutes. I'm 9 minutes and 35 seconds in, and I think the video can't be any more than 10. So I'm going to continue on another video from this, and I'll talk to you guys later.